very few which had seen close to 500 million years of evolution. And these races were scattered across many galaxies. Their missions became elementary as many star systems did not benefit the early footholds for the jump-starting of life. They had achieved the technological power to move stars, realign planetary bodies, change their rotation and orbits, and reset entire star systems to favor life. And only now do we know them as the Founders. Moving throughout the galaxy while studying and following some sort of stellar logic while analyzing star systems in their differing configurations, they determined very early on what and how it should all be done. A few systems only needed repositioning of certain planets, while others held unique interest based on their chemical and mineral constructs. many utter dead systems which in some ways would need a little more than just repositioning. And this way, for the rare cases, they intervened in the normal planetary development by making adjustments in atmosphere and even surface conditions. Compiling a seriously complicated database on these many systems, and the work had turned extremely efficient. And as time went on, the founders became very good at it. In the early eons, many of the more complicated system rebuilds took hundreds to thousands of years. The time frames involved in this endeavor implies their lifespans must have been 5,000 to 10,000 years or more, which also explains the height of their technologies. The founders took a particular interest in the inner system planet positions. The smaller solid mass bodies were spaced out into the inner systems. Sometimes orbiting moons were pulled out to their own orbits to become planets. The gas giants and larger bodies with serious gravity wells were relocated to the outer systems, where they became a sort of sweeper system to capture debris entering the systems. How they determined which planets were repositioned into the inner system is as yet unknown. just that it appears all of the galactic systems follow this same construct. While they were on approach, their systems could quickly analyze an entire system. It is understood at this time they started on the inner system and worked their way out. And yet, for all this work, it would soon become clear they were not alone out there. For roughly 1 billion years, they had not covered the first 30% of the galaxy. And yet at this point there were other races existent which began reaching out into the vastness of the galaxy. Most of these races had already far surpassed the resources of their home planets and had reached to other systems in order to obtain more of these and other resources. At this time, if either for furthering of their own projects or the early stages of a galactic economy is unknown. But they identified the founders' movements and began trailing their efforts once the systems had become more or less stable, making their mining operations fundamentally an easier task. It was during this period massive industrial mining ships became the standard, hauling great mining machines and crews for this purpose. Moving into some of these systems to begin strip mining what resources were available. Whether the founders were aware of this or not is also unknown. And as the followers moved behind the founders, the crossing of paths by several races began the earliest instances of conflict.